Damn it, Tito. Another one?
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy SliceGod, LilNoah, back with another video. I got my Uncle Derek in the chair. We finna get him a mid-drop fade. When starting off any haircut, you wanna make sure you prep your workspace. And I'm doing it by combing out the hair, lifting it out the scalp so it can feed into the clipper smoothly. On top, my uncle is kinda thin, and so I use a bigger guard, which is the number 2 guard closed. Then on the sides, I use the number 1.5 guard open, then closed as I go lower. For some odd reason, the number 2 guard and the 1.5 guard has a drastic difference when it comes to taking off length with the grain, but it's great in this case because we're trying to achieve that full look all the way around. I got the 1.5 guard now. Pay attention how I'm focusing on the side areas, but I'm still coming off top of the head to make sure everything flows. I'm brushing the hair to lay it back down and make sure those waves pop. Most importantly, to get any excess loose hairs from cutting the hair down. This is because a lot of clients tend to want to wipe their hair at the end of the cut or touch it or whatever, and a lot of loose hair ends up on their face and over the line, and the haircut don't look as clean, so make sure you handle that. I'm setting in the first guideline, which is the bald guideline. Remember, he getting a mid-drop fade, so we contouring it to his head shape. So regardless, it was gonna be a drop fade just because this how his head shape take the fade. Like, you see how I'm sitting in this guideline, it looks like it flows with his head shape. That's the only reason why I consider this a drop fade. As you see me step in front of my client to make sure the sides are even, this is very important because you don't want one side of the fade lower than the other. So make sure you step in front of the client to make sure your guidelines are even. I'm cleaning up the bald area very well because of 3 things: longevity, a cleaner look, and a better transition within the fade. I'm switching up my fade process today just to give y'all a few different options. I feel like this method a little bit quicker than my usual. I'm setting in my second guideline with my number 1 guard with the lever all the way open. I'm setting it in like 2.5 inches wide. For my beginner barbers, take this guideline as being 100%. So the whole 2.5 inches is 100%. Then I'm gonna go halfway with my lever and I'm gonna go up like 80%. Then after that, I'm gonna go fully closed and I'm gonna go like 60% in this guideline. And every time I kinda, like, I'm finna show you right now, I'm finna put the clipper back in camera, going halfway. Every time I do that, I'm basically closing the lever. So I'm halfway now, going 80%, not going all the way up. So that's why I say 80%. Then I'm gonna close it all the way up. And I'm gonna show that to the camera, and I'm gonna go 60%. Now we got our number 2 guard with the lever open, debulking, basically trying to connect this top link to the fade on the sides. We starting off all the way open, then we're going to go halfway, and then we're going to go close. And it's basically just prepping for the number 1.5 guard to connect the top of the fade all together. We're going with the grain with the 1.5 guard like we did earlier, basically trying to smooth everything back out, starting off open, then closed. Now we're going against the grain with the lever open on our 1.5 guard, trying to establish the flow into this number 2 guard. After we establish the flow into the number 2 guard with the lever open, we're going to work our way down with the lever, closing it little by little until the top of this fade is blended. Make sure you flicking out. You don't have to over exaggerate it, but you're not sitting in another guideline. So slightly flick out when working your way down so the blend can come together. I got most of this fade in real time and I'm slowing down so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. So take heed. Also, make sure you comb as you go. I literally can't imagine myself cutting a whole head without my comb, so it's very important that you use it. It basically spaces the hair out, let you know exactly what you're dealing with, and it becomes a natural instinct as you use it more. Like right now, I'm probably not even in my state of mind of knowing that I'm actually using my comb and actually using it at this certain time whenever I do use it, because it's natural, it just comes natural. So that's why I say it's very important. I threw my number 1 guard back on and do a little detailing as always, hitting a few dark spots, and basically just trying to take this fade to the next level. I got my lever open, sitting in this 3rd guideline, which is the final guideline. After I set this guideline in, I'm gonna work my way down to blend this guideline out. I'm gonna also kind of work my way up, open the lever little by little until it's blended. So you can do it either way. I'm gonna do a little of both.
Damn it, Tito. Another one.
Now I'm finna focus on taking out this last line, still with my lever open, but I'm flicking out so I don't have the clipper flat on the skin, and I'm using my corners. When I was setting in the third guideline, I had it flat on the skin, and I was using all teeth to blend out the third guideline. But now I'm flicking out, trying to transition into that longer length within this blend. So make sure you're using your corners and taking your time. If not, if you don't feel comfortable doing this, just use your 0 guard, your 1/16 guard, or your half guard, depending on what clipper you're using. Matter of fact, on my next video, I'm going to use my 0 guard and show you guys how to do it without using your lever open if you, like I said, don't feel comfortable doing it. But right here, I'm just speeding it up, basically detailing, hitting certain spots. Then I'm going to work my way to the back. When it comes to the back, blending out can be kind of tricky just because my uncle had like an indentation. So to work our way around it, all we're gonna do is stretch the skin. With my left hand that I have on top of his head, I'm stretching the skin, pulling the indentation out. And right here I'm just showing you how I'm taking out that last line like I was doing on the sides. I'm kind of like loosely using the clipper. I'm not like forcing it or trying to sit in the guideline. Like I'm literally flicking out. I'm loosely using the teeth and stuff like that. But like I was saying, I'm stretching the skin, blending this area out, and just taking my time. Everything is a process. Quick results of the fade. We got everything blended splendid and super gradient.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
We're taking the front edge up down with the 1.5 guard open, then closed. Remember, we cut the top of the head down with a 2 guard closed. So we're using the guard level lower to take down the hairline. Hold and spray to lock down the hairs. Make sure everything's stiffened up and don't move from the vibration of the trimmers. We're brushing it down, then we're gonna blow dry to lock everything in. Let me must say, my uncle was one of the hairlines I had to struggle with a couple years ago when I first started cutting his hair. And that's just because he had light areas and I didn't want to go into his light areas. So by me barely touching it or whatever, I could never just get a nice crispy edge up. But now that I'm very familiar with his edge up, I'm not scared to make everything crispy without pushing it back. Like I said, everything is a process. Just take your time. It's not a rush, especially when it comes to difficult hairlines like these. Please take your time. Work on one side. Focus on that one side. When you get everything crispy and locked in on that one side, just move on to the next side. And you do the same thing. And you connect right in the middle to make sure everything is flowing well. That's all you gotta do. After getting everything symmetrical, we're using the fibers. Unc usually don't get the fibers, but for the sake of the video, he did. And we basically just trying to get everything to look fuller. We're not trying to hide nothing or overdo anything. We're just trying to get that fuller look, enhance the cut. That's why it's called an enhancement. And, just take it to the next level. After we use the hold and spray and the blow dry to lock in the fibers, we're going back in with my Mike Tyson boards, which is my trimmers, to re-crispify the edge up. Hold and spray along with some hidden trimmers, you're gonna get a great outcome every time. If you haven't watched my video on how to set and sharpen your trimmers, go watch that video. If you wanna bro, if you want your haircuts to come out like this, your hairlines to be as crispy as mine, bro, you gotta tap in. Like, we taking this haircut to the next level. We for sure knocking a couple years off of Unc. And it just is what it is. The proof is in the pudding, man. You dig? I think I'm gonna cop the Babyliss Low Pro FX clippers, not the trimmers, because I'm pretty sure they very similar to the trimmers I got in my hand now, which is the Mike Tyson boys, and it doesn't get no better than that. But I'm gonna cop the clippers just because they mimic the magic clips, so I'm gonna give them a shot. Right now I'm done with this cut. I'm just being a show off at this point, which is cool too. YouTube, it's your boy SliceGod, LilNoah, back with some more heat as always. I really do mean as always. If you like this video, be sure to leave me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. That be the reaction. I'm gone. Slap.